Alright, in this video we're going to talk about some word options and autocorrect and some other odds and end features that you might find helpful and interesting as you create your reports and type your papers up in Word. So first of all, if you don't have some text on the screen like we had before, you should still have that up. If you don't, no worries. We'll get some more text on the screen by doing what we did before, by typing the equal sign, and let me zoom in a little bit more here for you. Equal sign, RAND, open parentheses, 8, 8, close parentheses. So type equal sign, RAND, open parentheses, 8, 8, close parentheses, and hit enter, and that will bring up that text. If you already have the text up that we can work with, that's fine. It's not a big deal. But we want to go to the end of your document here. So hit Control End, and it should move to the end of the document. All right. So first, we're just going to look at Word options. And to do that, let's go to the File menu. And in File, all the way at the bottom is a button called Options. And in options here, we can do a lot of different things that you don't do a lot of, but when you need to do them, it's nice to know where to go. So under the General tab here, when you create a Word document, it automatically puts your name associated with that file. So here, if you wanted to change the way your name was written or the way it is classified, this is how you do it. The background, you can play with this. Or the theme just changes. I'll just put dark gray, and you can see right here my word is white, and if I hit OK, all of a sudden it turns dark. It's just a preference. Some people like that contrast, others do not. And as we go through here, I'm going to change this under General. I'm going to change this back to white again. You can change any of these settings that you'd like. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, and then change it back. But you should be playing around with these settings as we go through. So that's what that is. I'm going to hit OK and then change that back to white. And I'm going to go back to File and Options again to return to the Options dialog box. If I'm going too fast on this, go ahead and just pause the video. Play with whatever option that you come across, whatever command or feature, and then return to the video to kind of move forward and see what the other stuff is. Under the Display tab, this is where you allow yourself to see a lot of things that we don't normally see. One of the things is the spaces. If you want to see where you've hit space or you hit the paragraph mark, these are kind of hidden text. So go ahead and check those. Say OK. And now you'll notice that wherever you hit Enter, you see this paragraph mark. And wherever you hit space, you should see dots. And if you look at your paper or your document, you should see the dots and paragraph marks throughout. Another way to turn this feature on and off is through this command right here. Now, since we did it through the Word options, we can't turn it off through this. So let's go back to Word options, go back to the display, uncheck space and paragraph, and hit OK, and now that you know they're gone. If you click on this button on the Home tab, if you click on this Show Hide button, you can turn them or toggle them on and off that way also. Okay. Sometimes if you have something goofy going on in your paper, and you're like, why won't this go over here? Why doesn't it center right? If you turn on the Show Hide button and see you have some extra spaces or an extra paragraph mark, it helps you determine kind of what's going on. Okay, go ahead and we'll turn that back off, and we'll come back down to Options and go back to Display. The printing options are also helpful to look at. Sometimes you don't want to print. You got something on the internet and there's a background picture on the internet that you don't want to print the background picture because then you can't read the text, or it's in color and it takes up a lot of ink or whatever. You can kind of choose to print or not print background images or other drawings, and just kind of gives you some flexibility on that. Take a second, just kind of look through, pause the video and look through the different things, options, play with what you want, and then return. The next tab we're going to look at is this proofing. So when you type words, if you type something in uppercase, it'll ignore that it's an incorrect word. And you could add words to dictionary, which we'll talk about here in a minute. You can correct your spelling as you type. If that bothers you, you can only do it when you want. But you got some options here on checking your spelling and grammating. We're going to come back to this dialog box here in a few minutes. Okay. Then we have the Save button. Let's take a look at Save. Okay, so under the word options for Save, I'm not going to spend too much time in here, but you can look through it. You can actually change the file type that the file is saved in, auto recovery. You could shorten that up if your computer is crashing a lot. But typically you don't change this too much. Same with language. I would not mess with language unless you have a keyboard that that types in a foreign language, or a foreign language keyboard, or you write a lot of foreign language papers. But in general, I would not touch that. But spend a few minutes going through this advanced option on the left side and seeing all the different options you can change or customization that you can make. Again, you don't change these very often, but it's good to know where you can go in order to do it. A lot of stuff about cut, copying, and pasting, you can go in there and adjust that. And again, what you see on your document, you can adjust that. And down here, the display, what you actually see, you can adjust that. And then down here, again, with printing, you can adjust some of those things. Although you don't mess with these very often, but again, you should know where it is in case you sit down and say you're missing a scroll bar. There's no scroll bar. What does that mean, right? You can go and this is where you mess with it, or add it to view it, or take it off. So again, pause the video, just look through and see what's being offered, and kind of just make a mental note of it. This next one's kind of a fun one where you customize the ribbon. Again, you can kind of go to your Home tab or Insert Ribbon, Design Ribbon, and you can kind of customize what's there and what's not there. You can add things or take things out. If you can also kind of create your own ribbon or tab by choosing a new group or a new tab. So in the Home ribbon, I can add a new group of customized features, and you can choose anything you want. You can also create a brand new tab. If you use the same 15 features and you're tired of clicking on all the different tabs, you can create your own tab with only the features in it that you want. So go ahead, and if you want to spend a few minutes playing around with that, you can. In fact, I'd like you to do that and see kind of what it's all about. You may never use it, or you might find it incredibly helpful, especially if you're doing, again, like foreign language, or if you're doing math or engineering stuff. You need some certain specific commands. Customizing a group or creating your own new tab can be very helpful. Okay. Same with the quick access bar here. This is something we will also mess around with. That is this bar up top. I don't know if you can see that in the lower upper right hand corner, but you can add your own little features to that. If you look at this here, I can't click on it because I got to get out of this dialog box. So close your word option dialog box, and you can see this little drop down menu, all these little quick commands. So this is another way to kind of, instead of creating your own tab, you can create your own group. You can just add a few of them right here. Let's take a look here. Let's go back to options and get into the quick access toolbar there. And let's look at, I don't know, let's say that you add a lot of tables. So this command right here, it says add a table, right? You select it, then you click on add, and notice it comes over here. When you say OK, you'll notice now the add table command is up here in this quick launch. So you don't want 25 commands here, but if you have 4 or 5 more commands, you can add that, and it makes your life a little easier. So go back to options, quick access toolbar. You can either add more if you want, or you can select it and choose remove, and just kind of bring it back to where it was. Scroll through your list of commands. Think about what you use or what you would use more if you can access it faster. And kind of play around with that for a minute. Okay? When you're done with playing around with that, just go ahead and say OK, and we'll move on to the next item.